Hello YouTube, today I'm going to show you a full tutorial on how to make a Minecraft server. This will include setting a static IP, port forwarding, and setting up the actual server. Okay, so to begin we're going to need a static IP. Now we can do that by two ways. First of all, we can Google this. I'll put a link to it in the description. PS static IP setup. Now it's from a site called portforward.com. It's a well-known site. You can bet that it won't have any viruses on it. You'll get this. You can download this and it says install, run, blah blah blah. So you'll run it and you'll download it and you'll get the setup. You can hit run, save, whatever you want. I already have it on my desktop, so I'm not going to bother reinstalling it. But okay, so this is what you'll see. Now normally for me, this would say make it for you, it should say this IP address is currently dynamic, and this should say make it static instead of make it dynamic, and this says static. But because I already have a server running right here, as you can see, I already have my IP static. So what you're gonna do is you'll download and install, and you'll hit make it static. This button will say make it static. So you'll make it static, and that's that for that part. Now next, what you got? Well, there's actually another way you can do. You can come into command and type ipconfig. Now you take all this, the IPv4, all that, come to control panel, network and internet. Let's see. Oh, network and sharing center? Yeah. Network and sharing center, then change adapter settings. Now you'll see the first one. Links, minus link this. You're gonna hit properties, IPv4, properties again, and you can see all this. So now you can see your IPv4 address. You want to put that there. Well, first of all, use the following IP address. Put IPv4 address in there, subnet mask right there, default gateway in there. Now for this, just leave this on. You don't even need to do that. Now you hit OK. Mine's already set, so I'm just going to cancel. Close out of this, close out everything. That doesn't normally work for me. Normally that crashes my internet and I can't get back until I go back to the default values and all. So I mean, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can just use this. Or another option you have is you can go to noip.org, and it's called a DNS. That's if you've ever seen like Minecraft server.no-ip.org. That's this. You would go to download and Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever you have, and you set that up. You can look for something else for that. I'm not going to go into that. So now you have this, and now that you got your static IP set, you're going to take your gateway address right here, and you type it into your browser. Now if you don't know your password and ID, you can go ask siblings, parents, if they know it. Or this site also has, if I look, router list. So mine's a link to WRTG4. So I mean, wherever it is, here it is. WRT54G. Wait for this to go. Click here to skip the advertisement. Okay, well I don't know. Okay, I don't know why I think. Okay, here it is. So you can see that. Okay, so yeah, if you don't know the just ignore what I just said there. I thought it had a list, but it doesn't. So if you don't know, you can ask parents and siblings, or you can look up default password and ID list for your router, which you can find your router on that site. If you go down to your router, you can see what it is, and then you can look up on that site. So you can look up a password and ID, the default one for that, and if it's not the default, again, ask the parents or sibling. So now we log. Hold on a minute. There we go. So now we log in, and the first thing we'll do is security, and this might be checked. If it's not checked, just don't even do this. But if it is checked, you're going to uncheck it, hit save settings. Now what that does, that allows people to connect your IP so they can come to your server. Settings successful, continue. But, by the way, when you log into here and you come on here, it might look different because I have a Linksys router, but if you have a different brand, it might look different. Okay, now here you're going to take one of these, the application boxes, and you're going to type in MC server Minecraft, whatever you want. It doesn't really need a name. And then you need to type in here 25565 in the start box. In the end box, you also type in 25565. Now this requires TCP and UDP. I honestly don't know what they are, but you need to port forward them both. So you can check both. Now you're going to type in, you can see here my IP address. So we'll take my IP address, and all IP addresses start with that default 19. Well, I mean, if you live somewhere else, it will be different. But by default, it'll have these first 3 filled out. All you need to do is get the last 2 and fill that in, and then check this box off. Now, if you don't have the option, some routers don't have the option to use both at the same time, so you need to do UDP. And here I have another MC2, same thing, 25565, 25565. But instead of doing UDP, I'll do TCP. Now you can see once I check that they're both forwarded. But so let's just, mine's already done, so I'm done. So now you hit save settings. Settings are successful. Now you have port forwarded. Now from here you have 2 options. Oh, I forgot to mention, some people who use this, like a few of my friends who used it, their internet crashed and it wouldn't work again. So if your internet stops working, all you need to do is come back in here and hit make it dynamic, and that will fix it, and it'll make it go back to normal. It'll fix it up and your internet will work again. If you don't want to take the chance, don't do it, but I mean, you know, it's a simple fix. So if your internet doesn't have to work, just come back in here and do it. I don't know why it does it, but I mean, it's fine for me. As you can see, mine's static. Internet works fine. I'll see. So now we have that done. You can have 2 things. You can do 2 things. First of all, you can come here. Let's make this. Rename it to server. You can name it to whatever you want, really. Then we need to go to bucket.org. Watch over here for the side, and we'll get the recommended builds. You don't need to update this every time, but it's nice if you do, because a lot of them come with small bug fixes or anything. So click on here, we'll get the newest one, and click on right here, craft bucket snapshot, blah blah blah. Save. Then we're going to put it in this folder. Mine has the 2 there, so I need to get rid of that. If you have anything like 2, 1, whatever number there, just get rid of that. Now there's a code for a bucket, so I mean, I don't know the code specifically, but I mean, you know, I'll put it in the description. So here's the code we need. So now that we have this in here, we're going to make a text document, rename it start, run, whatever you want, come into it, copy and paste this code. Now I have a 32-bit computer. Some people have a 64-bit computer. If you do have a 64-bit, be sure to copy this one. If you have a Linux, I can't help you. I don't know how to do all that for Linux or Mac. So on Windows, copy this for 32-bit, copy this for 64-bit. To tell what kind of bit you have, what kind of computer you have, come into Control Panel, click on System and Security, then click on System, and you can see right here, 32-bit operating system. So I have a 32-bit, which means I'm going to copy this code. Copy it, paste it in here, hit Save As, type in Start, or Run, whatever, like I said before, then come down here, hit All Files, type .bat. Now you get this. It looks like the little cogs right there. You see the little cogs. Now we'll delete that, this old one, and then we hit Start. Nothing's here. But as the server loads, you can see all this fail happening, which means it's generating all this new stuff that needs to be generated. So we'll let the world load, both worlds, and you can see that next time you won't get all these errors. There's also a vanilla Minecraft server, which if you go to minecraft.net, that means it's a clean server. It's not any, it's called a server mod, which is like Bucket or Canary. You can see down here, you can't get plugins or anything, or Canary mod.net. So this is also like a Bucket thing, you know, it's a server mod, you can get plugins and all. If you ever heard of Hmod, it's a continuation of that. Okay, so our world's generated. Now, to close your server, never hit the X, because the world may become corrupted and your server will no longer work until you delete the world and get a new one, which will cause your players to become angry. So we always type in stop. It'll do, this will announce on the server console stopping the server, then it'll stop saving chunks and it'll say press any key to continue. So now if you see we start again, we won't get any errors. The world just loads. Now as you get more plugins which allow you to do stuff like warping, teleporting, God mode, you download them and you put them in here. To get plugins, you come to bucket.org, get plugins, and you can, there's all the sections over here, and there's all the ones that have been recently commented on or posted. So another alternative you have to making the server is, there's tons of these out there by the way, but this one is actually mine. kingsofminecraft.com, downloads, and Minecraft tools. I'll put a link to here in the description too. So you see here, it's the server installer. It's pre-done already. You don't need to do anything. This should actually say 1.8.1 because it's updated. Right there. It says 1.7.3, but it's 1.8. Sound bad. So we got that downloaded, and you can see the plugins here. You can see like the original links here. So we get the Minecraft, we open it, and I already have a Minecraft server here. So I'm just gonna rename this to, so I can actually put it on my desktop. So now we'll put it on the desktop. As you can see, we'll go into it. All this is already done, except for the world. That way your world will be randomly generated. Plugins. Automate, that's a login plugin. When people come on the server, they will have to type /register and spacebar their password. Essential, that's /I, whooping, giving commands, God mode, all that. WLC, that's lightweight chest protection. That allows people to lock their chest. Permissions, if you ever see some server people, you can do different things than on others, different commands. This is what makes you so you can only do the certain commands. I'm not going to go into this because it's like a lot of spacing, as you can see, different spacing. If you want to learn how to use it, you can see here, permissions. It'll go to the original post. You can learn how to use it. World edit, that's what craft script is. Craft scripts is world edit. World edit, if you ever seen people make big domes or spheres or big squares and like really quickly, that's world edit. It allows you to make big like commands to quickly edit large areas. Craft scripts is part of that, so you can leave them to alone. World is also part of permissions, so you can leave them to alone. And world guard is so you can protect areas. All these are the jar files, the jar files, so you can just leave them alone. If you don't want to plug in, so you don't want people to lock the chest, you can just delete this and delete this. Make sure you delete both. One more thing is the server config. Now this form right here is a cracked form. This form right here, which means people who don't have the full actual game can get on when you say offline mode. Or so if you only want people who have the paid game to get on, type in true here and then save. And also if you do have it on true, you know, if you come here, you gotta see that you have to log in. You gotta log in and all. So I mean, that's really not essential. That's really used on the cracked servers, so people can't just like log onto your account. So you don't need that if you have a online mode server. You have max players, server IP, just leave that alone. You don't need to type anything there. Server port 25565 is the default, so you can leave that alone. Allow nether. If you want people to be able to go in the nether world, type true. View distance, don't bother with that. Spawn monsters, if you don't want monsters to spawn, type in the false. Spawn animals, that's spawning animals. Level name is world, which means if you say you want to name your actual world file, like ice cream, type in ice cream here and it'll detect. Otherwise, say if I make the world, if I load, click start and the world file generates and I name it ice cream, it won't work unless I change that to ice cream too. Now like I was showing before this, a 64-bit and a 32-bit kind of computer. If you have a 32-bit, you run this. If you have a 64-bit, you see x86. That means it works with a 64-bit. I have a 32-bit computer, so it tells me the system cannot find the path specified. So it won't work for me. And this won't work for you if you have a 64-bit. So make sure you're using it on. For players to connect to your server, you go to here, and this will show you your external IP, which is one that your players connect to. So you can see here, if I go to my server post, I'll just click on a random one. Right there. That has DNS. Click on here. Right, 89253. Now if you were to put the server IP that you see in here, that you see right there, that only you can see, they won't be able to connect, so make sure to come here and get this one. Okay, so that's all. I believe that's everything you need to do. Goodbye. Have fun with your server.